I just made mention of the fact that you don't stick to convention. Your writing and all the like, and it's something I think I've pointed out. There's a fresh breath to what you're presenting. Like if you compare, you hear what Alan Feldman says. He's there to revive Paul Twitchells' original works. So you see, what is characteristic of Vedanta is that they are doggedly committed to regurgitating or replicating what Paul Twitchell started here as the foundation. You see, which is quite different from what you are doing. Not only do you acknowledge Paul Twitchell as as laying the foundation, but you brought in an additional element, carried the building. You build the house on the foundation, yeah, and so it's not the same thing. It's not the same thing like continuing. Just standing on the foundation and then raising the house. So then you also talk about your style. I think from a literary point of view, since at the literary studies, I pointed that out. Your exercise of poetic license, which every writer is free. In fact, every writer is like an emperor. You can create what you want. That is your style. And nobody in the literary world who actually knows the basics of literary style will question you. And that is what marks the new presentation, or the Newman's studies, the Newman's presentation. So I think anybody who is reading the new books will realize that. And the only problem is that it poses difficulties for translators, those who are not versed with, first of all, you need to have a grasp of English, and then you go through try to understand the Newman's style, or else you'll be offended for no reason. Be offended.
You're very right, Charles. Thank you. Yes, I have to laugh, and that is that it is Ava is she's translating the books little by little, and you reach a point where you can't figure it out at all, and this is the fun thing. Okay, and I was going to say that here's Alan making the statement, which is fine with whatever his adventure is, that he wants to uphold the works of what Paul did. Well, Paul created Eckankar, what makes sense. Well, but at the same time, Alan creates this new business, okay, like Denami, which is, there's another Paul guy there that is a descendant of Darwin. He has a lot of power too, etc. Well, we got a legal letter from him. He doesn't like me mentioning him, so he sent it to Val actually, and I took it over and I wrote him back, and I haven't heard from him since. I like these confrontations. It's like he gave me 10 days, and if you don't respond, we're getting the lawyers. It's like, okay, so I just let it go. It's been a month and a half or something, whatever. So we'll see what happens. But I would suggest openly to Alan, if he wants to really sincerely uphold the works of Paul, if that's really his motivation. But again, things are demonstrated. Why did he start Vardankar? And now all of a sudden the boys are Vardankar masters. Okay, I would suggest that he become a member with Joni and work it from that angle. But that's just a funny suggestion. What do you think, Charles? What would you say?
In fact, that suggestion would not go well with Alan Feldman, because he first of all starts by criticizing Harold and Darwin before him, and he knows in his heart that they didn't have the rod of what he calls the rod of power at that time it was called. So I don't see him going back there. What you should be saying is that since he wants to continue in the political tradition, why he should upgrade to the new presentation. He should rather abandon what he's doing and join the new presentation, because not only do you acknowledge the past, but there is a plus. And while he's stagnant, he's at the same spot. So he should rather upgrade to the new presentation and embrace the is, what is now. Politicians works were for that time. His presentation, his foundation is just like stagnant, a foundation which is not developed upon just remains a foundation. So that is what I think.
Well, it's all funny, and it's all fine. It's all fine. Hey, there's the playing field. There's plenty of room for everybody, and we're all in life. We're all going through what we're going through. And again, these people, they've done the same thing as Paul did for that time. And just like you're saying, in the with the traditional routine, he creates the membership, and so I haven't done that. And so I bother people into stepping up. That's what I do. Okay, to see if they'll take the risk and step up and be equal. I put everybody before me. I really do. I'm like the housemaid here. Whether it's here or other places. I do the housework too. I put everybody before me, and so if someone else doesn't do it, then I do it. But that's how I see it. And so again, I'm grateful. And these people, they want to be the stars. And that's fine. Again, things are demonstrated. Look at how they put it together. If he really wants to uphold that, well, then he should take a look at what Paul is doing right now. The teachings are the one thing. Okay, that's things that are already written, said, and done. And basically, again, Joni owns that business. She's the ownership of that. And so what he's doing is he's making a clone of that and saying, I'm upholding the teachings. Well, again, the isness is always new now. This is the best part. And so even what I'm creating now, it will be blown away, just like in that experience, because I know that it will only get better. I'm not holding on to it. And just like we've had certain people here for many years, and all of a sudden they just they deleted some of the stuff on YouTube and things like that, and radio shows that we had done in the past. Well, Kelsey was telling me this. I didn't pay attention to it. She was telling me this, and I said, well, okay, but we have this and this and this. And Kelsey grabbed some of the things, and I said, it's okay. We'll do more. It'll be fine. I'm not going to get lawyers and go after these people and whatever. This is nonsense. Again, it's for everybody. But at the same time, when you have the awareness to see what's going on, this is where the real respectability comes in, and you respect it. You see, that becomes the difference. When people are promoting nonsense and allowing people to be tap line, well, I don't respect what they do. I don't respect what Joni does. She expects me to respect her business, or the government expects you to respect them. Why? When they're just a bunch of, we know what they're doing. How can you respect that? You're to respect the office of the President of the United States. Well, if it was a respectable office, yeah, everything equals itself, but it's not. And so who's doing all the chemtrails and the Wi-Fi and the abductions and all this stuff like that, and on and on and on? Who's doing all that? It's all a mystery, isn't it? Oh, we don't know who's doing it. Yes, we do. And it's just real friggin' nonsense. And so it's just time to get real. So that's what is being presented. So right here with what I'm doing the best I can. And so these other people are trying to uphold, it's easy to use the idea of tradition because you've got agreement there already. That's why Paul said one of the easiest businesses to get into, and he said businesses is religion. Yes, it's because you already have agreement there. You have most of the world, you know, wanting to identify with the God idea. That's basically it. That's why Joni brought in worshiping and prayer and the God idea. And even what happened to the Sugmod idea that Paul started? Well, that was kind of a funny thing he did. But again, that's not mentioned. Joni doesn't do that because, again, that's too far out. Again, she's looking for agreement because it's a business plan. And that's fine. But this is where I like to take on the challenge to see who will really step up and see what's taking place here, really see it from the real side. And even I've known many people that have had phenomenal experiences with the boys and whatever, like my past girlfriend for 25 to 30 years, and she still said, no, that's nothing. Those guys are dead, they're nothing. You see, who will continue on to see more and more and more? That's the real test. It really is. Until you grow too old to, again, you forget. In your youth, you got that youth and that vigor and you feel great. But guess what? It doesn't last long. It really doesn't. So this is where you prepare yourself. So yes, we're on quite a journey here, aren't we, Charles? And you helping to prompt this. You're very necessary, Charles. Yes, you really are. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Okay, then. Thank you too.